Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG, the original Grognard, and we're sitting back down at the computer again because it seems that's the only thing I have time to do these days is to play computer games and not get anything set up on the table. What are we looking at? John Tillers Software. I guess that means we're back to playing Tiller games. I've done several in the past, but we're back again. Part of the reason Tiller had a sale, which is about as rare as finding a unicorn nowadays. So I picked up a couple games in the sale, and I kind of had a little bit of a impetus to do it by there's a new Facebook group that I've joined, Napoleonic PC Wargaming. I'm pretty sure that's what the title is. And the guy who runs it, Ross, who also has his own video channel, Napoleonic PC Wargaming. Again, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll put it in the comment section below. He sat down and started doing a series of tutorial videos for Napoleonic Tiller games, which was immensely, hugely helpful to me because I do, as you can see from my titles, I do modern and Panzer campaigns. I have one Napoleonic title, but I was never very good at it. The idea of rank and file warfare fascinates me. It's just I never really stepped into it too much. Command and Colors doesn't count. That's a block game. Those are block games. But the idea of rank and file warfare. So I've always had an interest in Napoleonics and, of course, ACW. And Ross went through, he probably had 20 different tutorials, taught me a lot of things that I just didn't know. What units did, what they could do, what they couldn't do, how to use units. He went over command and control. He went over virtually every aspect of a Napoleonic game, and by extension, that can be used for the ACW. There are some differences between Napoleonics and ACW, and I'm kind of holding off picking up any more Napoleonics until they get the gold treatment, because I really don't like the 3D graphics in the pre-gold treatment. The gold treatment that most Tiller games have received now, except for the Napoleonics, makes 3D gameplay a lot better. And we'll show you when we get into it. So I've been hemming and hawing for about a year on which titles to pick up, and well, you know, hey, it was a sale, so I got the two that I was looking at: Atlanta and Chickamauga. Chickamauga. I suppose it's on which side of the Mason-Dixon line, how you pronounce it. I think the North pronounces it as Chickamauga, and I think the South pronounces it as Chickamauga. Chickamauga. I like how that rolls off my tongue. Anyways, yes, there are people that are going to yell at me for probably pronouncing things incorrectly. Whatever, fine, complain. I don't care. Probably shouldn't say that. So we're going to be taking a look at Campaign Chickamauga. And yeah, some of you who have played Tiller games probably don't know exactly what this menu program is. That's a separate file that you can download from Tiller Games, and basically collects all the Tiller games that you own into one folder and one application. So I have now just one application on my desktop rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need to get more Tiller games. I have a problem. I need an intervention. So this is a nice little program. I don't remember exactly where on the website I found it, but it's on there somewhere, maybe under extra applications or extras or something like that. But it's a simple little program. You put all your files, all your John Tiller files into one spot, and it basically gives you this. So anyways, we're going to be doing Campaign Chickamauga. And let's see, we're going to do campaign game. We're not going to go into the main program. The one thing I love about Tiller games is the variety of scenarios. You get a lot, and this is just the campaigns. You get a lot of scenarios and a lot of campaigns, a lot of variations. I almost kind of wish that the Panzer campaigns and modern campaigns had this campaign feature in it. But I guess since modern warfare is so fast moving, I mean, you can do it's like for Budapest. You can do the entire area of Budapest as just one campaign file. Something that you could do in one map on the Panzer campaigns should probably be broken up just because of the vast sizes. If you've played a Panzer campaigns or modern campaigns, you know how big those maps get. Even though the maps in these get just as big. So anyways, we've got 8 different campaigns that we can play with. Actually, there are 4, but each one of them has 2 variations. With weather, without weather. If you want to know what each scenario is, because again, if you were to take a look at the scenario list for this, the first battle, Perryville, probably has 20 different variations to it. in the root folder of whatever campaign, whatever Tiller game you're in, there should be a designer's notes, designer document, something like that. Should have a listing of what all these different things mean. So we've got Campaign for Tennessee full with weather, historical with weather, battles for control of Tennessee and Kentucky with weather. Okay, what do all these different things mean? You go into the document, it'll tell you. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do small battles of the campaign with weather, because I like having randomness thrown into the battlefield. Instead of doing, there are pretty much only 4 or 5 major set piece battles for the Chickamauga campaign. Perryville and Chattanooga. I know, I can never remember the other 2. We'll see in a little bit. Instead of, okay, so the Campaign for Tennessee, that's the 4 major set piece battles. The Campaign for Tennessee, the second one, is what if instead of they were set piece battles, they were instead meeting engagements. Battles for control of Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't remember what that variation is, but like I said, we're doing small battles of Campaign of Chickamauga anyways. So let's go ahead and start with that. Save as a campaign CPF. Yes, I know it exists. I want to replace it. Now here is the listing of all the battles in this campaign. So it's not going to be just focusing on the 4 major huge battles, but we're going to be looking at little different bite-sized chunks of the overall campaign. And there's, like I said, there's like 10 of them. I enjoyed the bigger games, but I think if I'm going to be doing anything on the computer, I should probably take a look at the smaller campaigns. You know, things that are only 12 to 15 turns instead of 185, or in some cases 385 turns. So we are going to be playing as the Confederates. As the mode, the AI, I think we're going to have the AI as conservative, and you can click on any of these to start the campaign at. You don't have to start with the very first one, but I am, just because. Use expected values. We're not going to worry about that. That's if you want to speed past some of these battles. And of course, you got the AI reckless. So let's go ahead and okay. Campaign overview. This campaign is designed to fight the smaller internal battles in chronological order. For the Southwestern Theater of Operations, it's so far been a severe disappointment. Major defeats have plagued the Army of Mississippi, formerly later known as the Army of Tennessee, at Fort Donelson and Shiloh. Funny enough, Shiloh, I think, translates into the place of peace. Anyways, Nashville has been evacuated, as is most of Tennessee. Despite these defeats, Southern leaders are determined to redeem themselves and drive the invaders out of Tennessee. Amazingly enough, people who may not know this, Tennessee was not a Confederate state. They actually kind of were neutral, but had more leanings towards the Unions. People would think that, you know, Tennessee was a Confederate state, but it just wasn't the case. Or was it Kentucky? May have been Kentucky. My knowledge on ACW is just a little bit lacking, not like I know World War II. First objective, liberate Kentucky and force the Union Army in a battle they will lose. As for the Union Army, new commanders will face the Confederates. As so often happened with the Union generals, they got replaced every other week. First Buell, then Rosecrans, and finally Grant will return to deal a deadly blow to the Southern dream for independence. For these men, the restoration of the Union was all important. No cost would have been too great for a price to pay for a reunited nation under one flag and one president. So yeah, Frankfort, we don't do Frankfort. That was kind of the staging area. But Perryville, Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Chattanooga. Those are the 4 major battles in the campaign. So go ahead. Current situation, Perryville. In an attempt to lure Kentucky away from federal occupation, General Braxton Bragg's Army of Mississippi was determined to avenge the defeats of Fort Donelson and Shiloh. As Bragg led his army into Kentucky, Union General John Carlos Buell was ordered to hunt down and defeat this Confederate invasion. Manpower-wise, I think at this point the Union was about 60,000 and the Confederates were about 50,000, but they were being reinforced and eventually got up to 70,000. I don't know, that's just a piece of information I have. After weeks of cat and mouse maneuvering, the 2 armies finally engaged each other near Perryville. At 2 p.m. on October 8th, General Bragg launched his initial attack across the Chaplin River north of Perryville. The conclusion of this battle may very well determine whether or not the Kentucky stays firmly in Union hands. Okay, so it's Kentucky, not Tennessee, that was on the fence. Or become encouraged by Southern victory and join the Confederacy. So you can kind of understand why it was so important for the Union to go into Kentucky, because could they really afford another state to join the Confederacy? probably not. And honestly, this entire fight was pretty much just kind of a. It wasn't planned. It was very hot in October of '63, as we can see from Gettysburg. No, Gettysburg was '64. Anyways, it was very hot that summer, and water was very hard to come by. And the Chaplin River really couldn't have been called a river; it was more of a stream. At that point, it was a water source, and that's honestly why the fighting broke out, is because they were trying to secure the water sources so both armies could maneuver. They just happened to be in the right area at the right time. So anyways, rebels are on the move. Confederates have chosen a position north and west of Perryville. CSA General Braxton Bragg will likely attack. Yeah, well, we know he does. So here we have Polk and Hardy and Wheeler under Bragg, and we've got McCook, Gilbert, and Crittenden backed up with Buell. Those are the different corps. I think 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Corps, and I couldn't even tell you what the corps were on the Confederate side. Confederates have chosen position. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Oh, rebels are coming straight for our positions. Fire at will and drive them back. Loading main program. Okay, we're going to leave this in manual control. Ross did a wonderful explanation in a video on what command control is, and whereas I think it's really cool, and I will probably do some battles on it on my own using the command and control, we're going to go with manual control. Take a look at rules real quick. Quality fire modifiers. The better your troops are, the better they'll shoot. Makes sense. Victory points for leader casualties. Don't throw your leaders away. Your leaders are worth something. Density fire modifier. The more troops you have in a hex, the more casualties you're going to inflict on them when you fire in them, just because there's more targets to hit. Night movement fatigue. We don't really have to worry about in this one. There is no night movement, but if you move at night, you're going to incur fatigue because troops don't like to move in the middle of the night when they've been fighting all day. Mounted cavalry skirmishers. Cavalry can break out skirmishers and send out skirmisher squadrons. Alternative fixed unit release. Fixed units normally only release by scenario design. The alternative fixed unit release is if an enemy unit comes within 5 hexes of them. I believe it's 5 hexes. Then they'll go ahead and release. Quality melee modifiers. Yeah, the better quality troops you are, the better you're going to fight. Makes sense to me. Isolation rules. If you're isolated, you're not going to fight as hard, and you're probably going to run away quicker. Weak zone of control. You can move through some zones of control. Flank morale modifier. If you get attacked on the flank, your morale's going to suffer. Only makes sense. Bridge limit and repair. Not really one that's in this scenario, or in most scenarios, really, except for the limit. Bridges can only support so much, so an infantry unit may be able to make across a bridge, whereas our artillery unit can't. Artillery retire by prologue. That means they have to back up before they retire. Proportional opportunity fire. That's basically the AI saying it's not going to shoot at the first target that moves across. It's okay. We've got skirmishers there, but we know that there's a regiment of infantry there. Are we going to fire at the skirmishers? Nah, we're going to see if that regiment over there moves, and then we'll fire at them. Mixed organizational penalty. If you have brigades stacked in the same hex, different brigades stacked in the same, that'll take a little bit of a morale or an organization penalty. Because commands get all mixed up. So yeah, let's just go ahead now. Okay, here we are, stepping into Union turn 1 of 15. All right, so take a look at the jump map. Not a real big battlefield. Not really at all. I mean, granted, we have 3 corps here, but I can already go ahead and tell you 2 of the corps are fixed. This corps, what is that? 3rd? No, that's 2nd Corps. 2nd Corps, pretty much all of this corps is in fixed positions, and I don't think they ever get released. I think they might get released like 5 turns before the scenario. I may have played this scenario once before. Not as part of the campaign, but just this was the first scenario on the list, and got to play the first scenario when you buy the game, and so I kind of know what happens in this scenario. 2nd Corps right here, or is this 3rd Corps? That's 3rd Corps. Most of this corps is fixed as well. Some of these units will get released, but pretty much this unit is about the only one that, and these two brigades, these 3 brigades, no, those are 4 brigades. These 4 brigades might get into combat. Most of the game, here we have Perryville down here. Most of the fighting is going to be with McCook's 1st Corps up here and his brigades up here. This is where most of the fighting is going to come. The Rebs are going to push hard here. This brigade, when they get released, will get into the fight. Maybe these other brigades, when they get released, will have a chance to get into the fight. So yeah, that's like I said, I know the Reds are coming. I know where they're coming from, so it's kind of an advantage to me. Sometimes I need an advantage against the computer. Now, most people will say the AI in Tiller games suck. It does. It generally just gives us something to shoot at for the most part. But even with that in mind, the AI still gives me fits sometimes because I'm not a clever man and the AI can still kick my butt. And I'm okay with that. I don't do a lot of PBEM. I find that most times with PBEMs on games like this, it's who knows the engine better and can capitalize on how the game works rather than how the tactics work. So I don't do a lot of PBEMs. I did do some Full to Gap with a buddy of mine, Mark Cabrera, and he and I were pretty much evenly matched, knowing the rules in the engine. I think he might have been a little bit better, but those were close battles. He kicked my butt both times, but they were still close battles and quite enjoyable. I've played other games before where the guys have been playing for years and knew the engines inside and out, and it was not pretty. I couldn't. It was ugly. It was very ugly. So yeah. So the AI, for what it is, it's something to shoot at, and it still gives me a challenge sometimes. And I feel good when I beat it. So hey, whatever. As we can see, the 3D view is so much better. This has gotten the gold upgrade, and the graphics just look so much better than the original Tiller graphics. I cannot play the older pre-gold games, Tiller games in 3D. I had to play them in the 2D view, which was fine. I got no problem with that. But this just makes it so much easier and so much prettier now. So I can definitely do this a lot easier. All right, so what have we got? We got a bunch of troops out here with a bunch of different colors. I like having my units broken down, colored by brigade. My approach to these games is I don't look at it as one large, massive scenario. I kind of do, but I also kind of don't. I look at each game as each brigade, and I do this with the modern campaigns by divisions, each brigade or each division is its own quote-unquote scenario. So I play brigade by brigade by brigade by brigade. I'll do each brigade in turn, keeping the overall flow of the battle in mind, but I just find it easier for me to do it in brigade order, and it's also part of my OCD thing, to do it in brigade order. Other people don't do it that way. It's just how I play. I'm not saying my way is the best. It's just that's the way I play. I will warn you that when we do start shooting at stuff, the sound is going to be really loud. I got no control over that. There is no way to turn the sound off in a Tiller game, or there's no way to turn the volume down. I can turn it off, but that you lose kind of some of the ambiance of the game. One thing I will point out, where is it? Yeah, right here. There's really no background sounds in this one like Panzer Campaigns or Napoleonic. This has background music that I've never seen before. It's kind of cool, actually. But there's only about 12 songs.
40 acres full of cotton.
And they go on repeat.
The smell of sweet magnolias.
So once you've heard the songs 2 or 3 times, you kind of get tired of them and want to turn it off. So I turned it off. I mean, it's cool. It's period music. And it really is really cool. But again, you can't adjust the volume of it. Wanted to sneeze and I caught myself. But it gets overpowering when I'm trying to record a video. And again, you can only listen to the Battle Hymn of the Republic so many times. As much as I love the Battle Hymn of the Republic, I can only listen to it 2 or 3 times before it's like, oh God, turn it off. So we're going to have the background music turned off. I think it's a cool addition. I just wish there was 3 or 4 times as many songs, which of course would make the file so much larger. But anyway, so we know, what are we looking at? We know virtually neither one of these corps are going to be doing anything. So we don't have to worry about that. Basically, the Confederates are all going to be coming this direction. You know, these two corps, I don't even know why they are added in. They could have done this entire scenario without even having this corps here. But I guess for just for completion's sake, I mean, the entire scenario could have been from about here up. Because there are no Confederate units down here. And these guys are fixed anyway, so it's not like they're going to move. But, you know, for historical sake, I guess it's kind of cool. And if you want to have variation, and believe me, there are a lot of variants for this scenario listed, then, you know, what happened if they'd had another corps, another 2 corps, and, you know, the South were able to set up down here as well. But so it's good for variation. The entire battle is going to take place right up here, pretty much square bottom and north. So I only have to really worry about McCook's 1st Corps, some brigades from 2nd Corps or 3rd Corps, Gilbert's 3rd Corps, and I know that they're going to be coming at me. So let's go ahead and start this off, and let's go ahead and take it in bite-sized chunks like I said we were going to do earlier. And let's start up here at Yankee House. Which is that? This is 33rd Brigade, 10th Division, 1st Corps. All right. What do we got here? We've got 1 gun. Ooh. 3 guns. 2 guns. 2 guns. There's no grand battery with these brigades. Although, you got to admit, let's say that's a 1, 2, 3, 4... 8 guns, 8 gun battery for a brigade. That's about standard, and they are a mix. Well, this brigade doesn't have a mix because that's the 10-pound Parrott up there, and there's a 12-pound howitzer there, 12-pound howitzer, and a 12-pound howitzer. So that brigade is mostly uniform. However, we come take a look. I think this is the 34th, no, 28th under Starkweather, right? Their artillery is a 10-pound Parrott, 6-pound SB. 12-pounder, 3-inch rifled, 6-pound. Yeah, there's a wide variety, 3-inch, wide variety of artillery pieces that the Union has. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look. And one thing that I've been noticing that I do a lot more is switching between the visible hexes. You know, what hexes I can see on each one of those. I've kind of trained myself to use the hotkey for that. And another one I like using is command range. When you got a commander clicked on what his actual command range is. So you'll see me flip through that quite often as well, because I like trying to keep my guys in their command range of their brigade commanders or regiment commanders. So what do we got here? Let's go ahead. Let's keep that. Let's take these men, and we're going to move them right there. And we're going to protect this path. It's not even a road. What is it? It's a trail, yeah. So we're going to keep an eye on this trail up here. We're going to leave that gun there. Let's go ahead and move these guys forward. They can't see much right there, but at least they'll be able to blast any Rebs that come right over this ridge line. Here at the Yankee House, let's go ahead and move these guys here. They've got a better view, so they'll see any Rebs that are going to come up over this ridge, over this hill right here. Let's take a look. This gun has got a pretty good field of fire. We'll leave him there. There's Terrell there. We'll leave him there. I like leaving my leaders in the back. And he's got a little personal guard there of 194 men. We'll keep him with that. We've got some guns, but these guns, they're not going to see shit. So let's go ahead and limber them up. Move them forward into the Yankee House, and then unlimber them. And now they've got a much wider. Now, granted, it's only 2 guns, so it's it's going to be harassing fire at best, but it's still something. These guys have not got a really good view. I think we'll leave these guys here for now to see where if the Rebs come over the north side of the hill or around the south side of the hill. So we'll leave them there. I don't like how spread out they are, and especially since they're C quality, D quality, C quality troops. You look at them funny, they're going to rout. Now you may notice I've got the command bar or the unit bar down here. For some reason, I don't know why this is. When I'm playing modern campaigns or Panzer campaigns, I prefer the bar over here, but when I'm playing NAP or ACW, I want the bar at the bottom. I don't know why. I wish I could say it's my OCD. It might be my OCD. I don't know. All right, so we got these pink guys done. So let's move down to the net. Well, actually, let's see. Is there anybody we can shoot at? Nope. With the artillery that I do have. Nope. No, they moved. They do have a target. If we've got the range, what guns is that? That's a 12-pound howitzer. We've got this unit way over here. And that's one thing you'll notice if you're jumping from ACW or NAP to ACW. The range of the guns are a lot more in ACW. Oh, let's select the unit. Pretty long range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hexes. That's a pretty good range. And that's not even its longest range, I don't think. So, we got one casualty. First blood to the Union. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this next brigade. Again, little chomps, chompy, chompy, chomp, little bites. Baby shark, do, 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 baby shark. Okay, let's stop that. These guys, let's turn visibility on. Let's see, the guns there. Okay, we want the troops. I want more of a defensive line than just at the wood line. So let's move that infantry up. And let's go ahead and fire with that. The good thing about most Civil War artillery is that you can fire over your own troops. If it's a howitzer, you can fire over your own troops. One problem I've noticed well, not a problem, just it is a thing in Napoleonics. You can't fire through your own troops or over your own troops. Very few artillery pieces in Napoleonic could fire howitzer mortars mainly. There was some rocket artillery as well, I think. Yes, there was actually rocket artillery. Glorified fireworks, basically, but it was rocket artillery, nevertheless. Let's see. Let's have those guys. 3 men. Again, it's long-range fire. More harassing fire at this point. Let's go. We got 2 guns. Oops. Cannot fire from overstacked hex. That's a good thing to know. I didn't know that. So, since this is overstacked, let's go ahead and move here. Whoops. Right there. Got the reserve of 420. Let's take this formation and move them up there. Let's keep these 420 men in reserve. Where's my commander? There's Starkweather. Let's move Starkweather right there. And then we can see his command range. Definitely be able to command from a more central position there, so that's good. Let's see. Has fired. Let's see. It's fired these guys. Can they fire at anybody? I may be facing... I'm facing the wrong way. Ah, I guess I'm not. More harassing fire. Now we've got 6 guns stacked up here. So these guys will be able to give some good covering for the Gibson house. But let's go ahead and tag. Oops. Again, make sure we select the units we want to fire. And fire 8 men. Okay, that's better. And let's go ahead and take... they're unlimbered, so they can't... Or I just moved them up. Oh, no, they didn't move them up. Let's go ahead and fire there. One thing I do want to mention, Ross and the guys over at the Napoleonic PC Gamers, I think that's it'll be in the comment section below. They've come up some house rules, and I think one of the house rules I'm going to play with is going to be in effect. It's basically you can't melee with disrupted units. The game engine will let you, and the reasoning that they go with, and I tend to agree with them, is that disrupted units probably aren't going to initiate a melee attack. They're not in rank and file formation. You're just not going to hodgepodge throw a gaggle. I like that word, a gaggle. I like that word. Gaggle of men at the enemy. So, although the engine allows us to be able to attack with disrupted units, they and I am going to play that I can't initiate combat with melee or initiate melee attacks with disrupted units. Talking so much, and it's actually summertime here in Seattle now. All right, so that brigade is done. We got the supply wagon. Yeah, that's good there. If the rebels do get too snarky, I can pull it back a little bit. These blue guys, this is the 80th Indiana. They're fixed, so I can't do anything with them yet. So let's move right down to here to these orange guys. And who's that? That's the 9th Brigade under Harris. Let's see, what do we got here? We got 2 guns. Let's find out what we got. We got 2 guns. We got 2 guns. So this brigade's a little bit short. It's only got 6 guns. So what do we want to do with these guys? I think we just kind of want to keep them right there. Have I got a reserve? I've got a reserve. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and take these guys and extend our lines out a little bit. And let's take the 500 men. Extend the line out just a little bit more. And I've got 400 and... Okay, so I do want to reserve. Let's take this 460, the 2nd Ohio Regiment. Move them back. Where's my... Okay, there's Harris. Let's move him back to them as well. So I've got a line here with a little bit of a reserve. And I'm gonna need the reserve because quality C, quality D, quality C. Yeah, these are not the best frontline units. So let's see what sniping fire can I do with my artillery. Okay, so they got some good arcs of fire. Let's go ahead and shift them to face. Whoops. Let's go ahead and shift them to face that way, so they can take advantage of being able to see up here. And since I moved, I can't fire. These guys have got some pretty good... can I shoot there? Again, select the unit. Okay. I may need to rotate the cannon in the future to catch these hexes up here, but for right now, we'll just go ahead and leave it there. And these guys... Long range harassing fire. Ooh, 7 men. What type of gun is that? That's a 3-inch rifled. Okay. Okay. So that's that brigade. So pretty much the only brigade we have left is the 17th here under Little. I don't want to put any guys down at the base of the hill because they're not going to be able to put fire on the road. Okay, so yeah, all right. Let's just go ahead, move that guy like that. Position him there. We got 433 and 500. Okay, the 517 is going to be our reserve. Let's pull them back one and move Little in with them. And they've got all 6 of their guns in one battery. And I don't think, if I turn the gun, I don't think I want to turn the gun. I don't think I can shoot on them. Nope. Whoops. Again. Yeah, I can't. Firing unit is not facing target. But I know there's going to be a bunch of Rebs coming down this road. So let's just go ahead and leave that there. These guys are a little too far forward for my likings. I'd prefer them to be here, but then they won't be able to see the road from that hex. So these guys are going to take a beating, I have a feeling, when the Rebs first show up. Now, pretty much everything else are fixed units. The only other units that aren't fixed that I know of is right here, and that's Buell himself, and he's got some dismounted cavalry here with him, like 200 dismounted cavalry. Just leave them back as kind of a rear guard. Not that I don't think the Rebels will ever get there, but you know, he needs a personal guard just because. Those guys are fixed. That is good. Really the only other unit I think I could do is this wagon that I want to move up. If you notice, I have a complete lack of supply wagons to cover basically the north. Well, this supply wagon can reach these guys, but when these guys release and I push them up to plug the hole and reinforce the Yankee house, they're going to need supplies. So let's go ahead and take this wagon. And I think we're going to move that wagon and plant them right there. Just as and that should be able to have them in supply range. I think the supply range is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys may not, but if I have to, I can pull them back a hex to put them back in supply range. I think wagon supplies. See, that's the difference between just a casual player like me and a good player. A good player would know what the supply range is. Me, it's like, whatever. I'm not worried about it. I'm just playing to have fun and to shoot at things. That's pretty much it. Now, what I am going to do to spare everybody from having to suffer through it is I'm not going to show the AI turn. Ross actually turned me on to this idea, and especially in larger campaigns, larger battles, you don't need to see what the AI is doing, and it takes forever for the AI to do their turn in bigger battles. You don't need to see it. I'll turn the camera off, and then when I come back, I'll say, all right, these things happened. I'll give you the highlights, and we'll take it from there. So let me go ahead. I wish I could say I could save this, but I can't save it because it's a campaign game and it only saves at the end of every turn. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut it here. I'll let the AI do its turn. Actually, no, I'm not done yet. I have got, again, that's the one thing, the difference between Napoleonic and ACW is the rifle range is a lot more. So let's see. I don't think, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, still Confederates. Yeah, that's out of range by 2 hexes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. So we're looking at 5 hex range with the rifles compared to like the 3 or 4 range that the muskets that Napoleonics have. And then the 1 hex range that most anything in Panzer campaigns have, because those are 1 kilometer hexes. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and shut off the camera here, and I'll let the computer do its turn. And let's keep everybody in suspense. I think we've gone probably a half hour so far. We'll go ahead and make this it for this video, and when we come back, we'll be stepping into turn 2, and I'll let everybody know what happened. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section below. I'll see everybody later. See ya!